All right, back here in the J Concepts Garage with another video blog episode here with Fred Reep. We're got another monster truck assortment here going on. We had two different events that we attended recently. Fred, you went out and attended the NRC TPA Spring Nationals, and I went over to the Bigfoot Open House where they had a Trigger King RC monster truck event. Fred, we'll go with you first. We got a couple trucks out here on the table. We had a great event out there at the Springs. Tell us a little bit about kind of what happened out there and how the team did.
Yeah, leading up to those events, a lot of excitement going on. The Bigfoot Open House, we went from Oklahoma all the way out there. We dropped off some goodies for you to race out there, and then we headed on out to the 2017 NRC TPA Spring Nationals. It's the 23rd year of them having that. 29 years in total of them actually holding these types of events, so it's a real big feat.
So we went out there. We had some guys there on the team. You were there representing J Concepts. Had the tent set up and some products there. There's several different classes of competition between retro, the pros, the shaft trucks. Run us through the retro side of things. That's one of the classes where they typically use the Clodbuster style axles. The truck's a little slower and simulates the older style trucks from the 80s. And what did you see in the retro class?
Yeah, retro class was really fun. Again, we had Tad Goad there. We want to shout out to him. We have his truck actually here, the Intimidator, that won the People's Choice in the Show and Shine competition. He also went to win that race in the retro, and then I'm taking the third place spot here with the Carolina Crusher. We ran that thing out there, and again, it's a bit more slow paced, a little bit more of a technical track. The setup on the truck is a bit different than you would on a race truck, and they work really, really well.
Yeah, so you've been running two events here. We did with the Carolina Crusher body, this is our new 88 style Chevrolet body, which is kind of inspired from the we got it painted like the Crusher, but of course the USA one, the Barefoots, and all the trucks that were in that generation sported this 88 look, right?
Right. Yeah, they sported that look, and that's the whole thing about the retro classes. You want to emulate the real truck of that period in time. So again, Tad Go going with the 79 Ford using the Intimidator. It's actually a 74 Ford painted type grill on it, but I did a real super job airbrushing that thing, and that's why I took the People's Choice Award.
Yeah, Tad's truck there, it's equipped really well. He's been winning races with that thing for quite a while already, but that's kind of a tried and true vehicle for him. He can switch out the body. I know he's run the Outlaw body before, and he's got several different ones. He went with the our new body on this one, but lots of the guys choose, or he does, is the Firestorm tires on it. And talk to us a little bit about that combination, and what do you see between the two tires on the retro trucks?
Yeah, the two tires, the difference is I don't see a real big technical difference as far as running the truck. Granted, you're going to have a little bit more top-end speed with the Firestorms, being that they're a little bit taller than the Renegade. He's also running no foam inserts. They're glued, but the having the no foam in there, having be a little airtight, it's helped adding and giving the truck a little bit more cushioning in the suspension, to where a lot of the vintage or the stock type chassis that you're running lack in that department. So the tires have helped soaking it up.
Yeah, like when you look at your Crusher here, this has the Renegade's tire on it, but you can squeeze here and you can see that we got a lot of space here.
Right.
This is taking up a lot of your suspension on this type of truck, and you can see that these kind of trucks kind of lack in the real suspension category, but obviously if you got some travel in the tires, it helps as well.
Right. It has hardly any sprung weight at all, so everything, all the impact is going to be right there at the axle, and you need the tires to perform in order to help out with your suspension.
So kind of going between the two, there's three different offset wheels that we have with the Tributes. What seems to be kind of the common offset theme with these trucks? So the guys are sticking with the narrow, or are they going a little wider?
Yeah, it's all up to driver preference. I'm kind of going stock. staying with the stock width, and then Tad and I believe a couple of the other guys are maybe going to the 18s, maybe a little bit more stability.
Yeah.
On some of the ramps, you take a bad bounce, and there's just a little more wheelbase width in there that'll help you out.
I mean, I think kind of simultaneously, I was out at the Bigfoot open house. I ran my truck, which is the truck we have dressed here is the black and red Chevrolet, but you know, I was sporting the Bigfoot 4 body and the Firestorm tires there at the Bigfoot open house, and you know, kind of doing the retro thing also. And like you said, I went with the no inserts, the Firestorm tires, and the truck really, you know, worked well. Like you said, it's a little slower, but you know, it's actually for the size track we were running on, it was kind of appropriate. You know, given our space there at the open house, it was kind of a rainy day there at Bigfoot, but they put on a nice show inside, and you know, we hardly got wet inside. And they ran the big trucks outside. You know, they put on the same show that they said they were going to the entire time, and even though it was raining. So they ran the race truck, they ran Bigfoot 1, Bigfoot 5, they ran Bigfoot 8. They did everything they said they were going to do, even in the mud and the weather. So it was a nice time for the fans, and you know, I got a win out there with the Bigfoot 4 body, so it was pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's really good, and it's, you know, really good to the Bigfoot people. You know, it's a tremendous amount of work just to have a couple trucks running. You know, when you include the elements and what's going on, so many spectators, a lot of things going on, and you know, they made it happen. It's really, really good.
Yeah, I mean, they were, you know, obviously they have a lot of their memorabilia you can purchase out there. One of the kind of the cool things we picked up was this autographed Bob Chandler piston head here, and this was something that they were offering out of you know, some of the trucks when they rebuild. They have some of these laying around, and Bob Chandler obviously was out autographing these for. It was one of the things they had for sale, which I thought was pretty cool, and.
Hey, it's nice he took the etcher and etched it, put his name right in there. So
yeah, it's
there's
not
no Sharpie that's going to come off or anything like that.
Yeah, this isn't just your typical black or silver Sharpie. Went ahead and actually scribed it on here, so it's a nice piece, and just one of the things that they have available out there at the open house. So it was a really good event to be a part of, and just happy to bring out the retro trucks, and you know, we had even our race trucks out there. There was a good freestyle program, as well as you had a good freestyle exhibition out there at the Springs, right?
Yeah, we had another good run here. You know, open class for the freestyle. So you know, every opportunity where there's an opening where we can try and test. I mean, every time we're out there, we're testing this thing. We're coming up here in the final days here, where I think we're going to be having a release on our kit, and you know, to sign off on that, you know, it was great to get a win up there at the NRCTPA at the freestyle. The truck is just an animal. It performs really, really well. The durability factor is just tremendous, and yeah, we're really excited.
So you know, with this truck, I mean, you've kind of been putting this thing through the paces. I mean, you've been at the the Monster Jam World Finals. You know, you've been at the Showtime events. You've been at the Springs. Kind of running the same truck here, but how you been equipping the truck with what parts you got on here?
Yeah, well, first to start off is, you know, we're using the J Concepts conversion kit, you know, which is your front and rear carbon fiber shock towers. We have aluminum standoffs in there to get the shocks positioned on the shock tower just right. We have some aluminum body mount adapters, so you can adapt the Traxxas Rally body mounts front and rear. They're adjustable, so any type of body, you know, you can adjust them up and down. That worked really, really well on this kit. We also have the shocks, the GTR shocks, which are included on the Traxxas Platinum package. In the rear, we're putting the rear shocks in the front now to give it a bit more suspension travel. The caster blocks in the front, you know, to give, you know, adjustability and access to run these big tires on this truck. We had to design, you know, caster blocks for this thing. And yeah, MIP supplying the drive shafts for it. We wanted to make this thing bulletproof. And Tekin for the horsepower. We've got a Trinity battery in it, 100C, and when you're ready to turn it loose, that thing flies.
So in terms of, and then you of course go for the overkill paint scheme with the 93 Ford F-250 body, and you went with the long version, right?
Yeah, the Super Cab, we went with the long version for the Slash 4x4. The same kit will work on the Stampede 4x4, and that's when we're running the shorter wheelbase or the standard cab pickup on that one.
So, and then in terms of the tires, these are the Renegades, but what compound?
Renegades, we went with the gold compound since we were going to be on the carpet. You know, they plenty of traction, a lot of bite, and you know, you wanted to get it around the track. I mean, on the off-road tracks, you know, we'll go with the blue compound, you know, a bit softer, and you know, this thing has so much horsepower. You know, it'll throw rooster tails in the dirt, but again, an awesome piece of machinery. I think a lot of people are going to be quite happy with it out there.
So, you know, kind of, you know, wrapping up the retro portion of our, you know, program, but, you know, not only did we have Tad out there running with the Intimidator, but we also had, obviously you mentioned you were running the Crusher, but we had Matt Stoltz out there running well also, right?
Yeah, Matt Stoltz out there with his...
was it Lethal Weapon truck?
The Lethal Weapon he had, and he had the Micro Machines tube truck. So, yeah, a lot of good fun out there.
In terms of the People's Choice, that's more of like a show and shine type.
Yeah, usually at the beginning of the events, you'll have a show and shine competition, you know, when they're all nice and pretty and shined up before you go out and bash them out on the track. Let's set them all up, have different classifications. You know, they'll have the truck pullers out there, they'll have, you know, all pull trucks out there, monster trucks, retro trucks, and, you know, they'll have a select group of people as judges go out there. You know, they'll walk around and, you know, they ultimately will pick the winner.
Okay, well, what we'll do here is we'll, you know, we'll talk a little bit about the modified trucks, the stuff that's really goes fast, has a lot of modifications, and they look, you know, real cool, and setting the track records out there. All right, so we're going to do a reset here with sort of our modified, pro modified classes. These are kind of the trucks that everybody likes to really watch. These are the ones that have a ton of power, really exciting to watch. They jump the furthest and probably do the best crashes.
Yeah.
Also, you know, these are the we brought back a lot of our winners here, and we got trucks featured again by Tad Goad. We got Russ Bryant's trucks here, and Matt Stoltz. Fred, you know, kind of going through some of the trucks. You know, start with some of our you know, pro mod winners here. You know, break us down on the Medusa truck, which is one of Russ's favorite trucks. What do you think of the Medusa, and would you see it, you know, how it was performing out there?
Yeah, the Medusa was really a really good truck to run. You know, the thing handled like a touring car the way he had it set up out there. He's just a really fast driver. You know, and that's tough to beat. You know, 0.6 of a second in RC monster truck racing can determine a first to sixth place spot.
Yeah.
So it's not like off-road racing where it's a little long and drawn out. You have, you know, 6 to 10, maybe 10 seconds to make something happen. And one little hiccup, one little, you know, error in driving, and it's all over for you. But Russ bringing the Medusa, you know, a super machine, you know, running it in the modified monster truck class and the pro mod. You know, those guys can mix it up. In pro mod, you can run the shafty trucks and the clodbuster axles.
Okay.
And then in the modified, you can run just the clodbuster. And then again, they have a set alone class for the shafty 4x4 monster truck as well.
You know, so if we concentrate on Russ's 3 trucks here, we talked about the Medusa. That one's always, I think, one of his favorites. But then we have he calls it the J Concepts work truck here. This is the one with the 79 Ford body on it, and kind of has that kind of that beat up looking older truck. But this is a clod based axles, and you know, probably one of his fastest trucks out there. Also, they're equipped similar, but also a little bit different. You know, what would you say in terms of, you know, how the 79 body truck here look compared to the Medusa?
Yeah, well, that's a newer chassis. The ZRP racing chassis is his choice for running on his truck. You know, running the Renegade tires. It was a really good combination for him. You know, if you look closely at these machines, it's a little bit different in the chassis setup. You know, the way the sway bars are set up and the way the shocks are mounted and the type of shocks that he's using. But again, they're really close. You know, he has so many trucks there to run in a class to where they're really super close in their times. It's just which one's going to go to the final for them.
Based off of being there, what would you say? Do you prefer doing the time or the eliminations?
I'm an eliminations kind of guy. I'm kind of a purist when it comes to RC monster truck racing. I like them head to head. I like you getting a good qualifying time, getting seated in that bracket, and just there you can have a little fun with your competitor there. Talk a little trash, or give them an evil eye or something. Try and get in their head and make them maybe mess up a little bit. But you just stay focused. You run a good time. You run a good smooth run, and more than half the time you're going to take a win.
While we're on the Clodbuster based axle trucks, we'll take a look. We got Matt Stoltz Micro Machines, which he was able to take a win with the Micro Machines. That's the Cube chassis, one of the latest versions from Morris. And then he has other J Concepts, I'll call it the Flame Truck. That's kind of like his off-road racing paint job on his monster truck. But bring us up to speed with the Micro Machines.
Yeah, Matt Stoltz taking the 1-2 punch there in the elimination racing. And he did a really super job there. Micro Machines, I believe, was the truck that took the win there. Again, using the Cube chassis works really well for him. It's a great performing piece. Again, the suspension and the shock setup, all important in elimination racing. You got to have the truck handled, and again, things go by really fast. And he had the total package that day.
So, and then on that truck, he chose, which I know he was waiting for, was the '88 Chevrolet body, because he wanted to go with that Micro Machines theme. What'd you think of the way the '88 Chevy, looked in terms of looking like the real thing?
Yeah, he did an amazing job. Him and his painter, they got together and they put together this paint job to do the retro Micro Machines paint scheme, and it just came out gorgeous. A lot of people that were looking at that thing, they really liked it. Came out nice.
And kind of going back to the shafty trucks here, which are based more off of a transmission in the center of the truck. We got Russ's ZRP Racing truck here. He's got this thing fitted with the '93 Ford body, but this is a wrap job, which the other trucks here are paint with some decals, but this is 100% wrap on the shaft truck here, right?
Yeah, you can get quite creative with wrap. Paint takes a special talent too. Sometimes here nor there. Sometimes wrap is a bit easier, and you can get a little bit more trick in some of the graphics. But the ZRP Ruckus machine, he did the job in the shafty trucks.
And again, he went with the Renegades, the Tribute wheels. We already talked about the Ford body, and he's got this thing set up for minimal droop. This is, like you said, he's got this thing kind of set up for a lot of turns, and he keeps this thing low to the ground, even more so than the other two trucks.
Yeah, and then again, that keeping the weight low in the monster truck, it's something that they've been following even in the real monster trucks. Keeping the low center of gravity on it, keeping the truck balanced. When they're doing freestyle and doing tricks, it's important to have the proper balance in the truck so you can pull off certain stunts. And you also, run those trucks at a high speed. You need to have the low center of gravity. You can't be throwing a lot of, weight up top, to upset the truck. So again, the balance in this truck here that he used in the shafties, it worked out in his advantage.
Yeah, and Russ he comes in with a kind of a teammate guy, Mike Messia, right?
Right.
They come in together and they run a kind of their racing close, and Mike's super competitive. I think he podiumed or was second in many of these classes with Russ, right?
Right, yeah, and they all feed off each other. They'll sit back there, they'll take videos of each other's runs, they'll help each other out. Even not as their direct competitor, sometimes they even come over to me, hey, you need to make an adjustment on this turn. So it's really good of those guys to do that. It makes the racing much more competitive, and it's great. When you're getting advice off from the sideline, it can help you.
So we go over to the No Problem, which is in front of you. I mean, this was a real popular truck in the 80s and 90s. This is Tad Goad's No Problem, but that truck was really popular for being a Bronco.
Yeah.
But Tad went, since there was no Bronco, he went with the '93 Ford body. He said it was close enough. And this is his shaft truck, which he admits is old and one of his war horses. But what'd you see out of the No Problem truck?
Yeah, No Problem truck taking up a third in that class, and for as old as it is, and the way he runs this thing. I mean, he's a good, consistent driver, and again, consistency and elimination bracket racing, it's key.
Yeah, I mean, going over to my event, we were at the Bigfoot Open House. We went through the retro, but then I also had a MyCube truck that you had, gotten together for me and brought over there, and I had my Bigfoot retro body on there. But like you said, the consistency. I mean, I know I had a lot of really good runs in the first couple rounds. I know they were really quick, but then I made a kind of an easy mistake in the semifinals, got eliminated. We were kind of setting up for a showdown there in the finals, but it didn't materialize, and Michael Arndt ended up taking the win in the in the pro modified class where I was racing at the open house. And like you said, it's tenths of a second, maybe less, and one bobble, and you're out of competition.
Right, you're on the trailer, sort of thing.
Yeah, and and then we had a lot of great competitors at the open house. We had Bob C taking his Chaos truck, and he won the freestyle where I was in the pro mod class, and he did in the sport mod as well.
Yeah, the great group of guys. Michael Arndt out there, always in the top of the heap. Does a super job racing. You can't mess up against him. You really got to stay focused on your racing to take him down.
So kind of wrapping up, our truck collection here in the two events we were at. What was your final thoughts about the the NRCTPA, and then kind of what's coming up next? And I can kind of revisit mine also.
Yeah, NRCTPA, it's an organization, a club-based organization that's really withstood the test of time. They really have their program set and going. They get in, they get the event set up, they get the events done, and they're out of there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really impressive on what they do. 168 monster trucks running that day. Probably over 300 plus in the truck pullers, possibly. I don't know the exact number, but there was a lot of them.
Right.
But they set up 2 dirt tracks in the pullers, and that's very impressive to watch if you haven't seen it. But yeah, a super group. Really excited. Next up's coming the No Limit Monster Jam World Finals up at Gravedigger's Digger's Dungeon. We're excited to be attending that.
And Dennis probably be out there again once.
Dennis says he's going to be out there, and there's a video floating around him holding the truck, and he says he's going to be out there running with us all. So get ready.
Okay. In terms of the open house I was at, I mean, that was a great experience. They opening the doors to everybody there. All day long, taking all the the questions from anywhere from when it started to where they are today. People were obviously really gracious to the racers and everyone, and put on the show as they promised. And we'll definitely be back again, and look forward to bringing it to everybody. And thanks for watching here, J Concepts video blog, and on our monster truck recap. And we look forward to seeing you next time.